You can pick up ideas that can change your life starting tomorrow. Just be a more careful observer. Now remember, there's two ways to see. One is called sight. The other one is called insight. See with your eyes, you'll see things. See with your mind, you'll see answers. Put your eyes and your mind to work. Don't miss anything. You've got to learn to zero in and concentrate. Wherever you are, be there.
Now listen to me. I don't care if you're sick. I don't care what you're going through. If you're not dead, he ain't through with you yet. As long as you're waking up, you're still in the game. You can still make it happen. As long as that breath in your nostrils move, you still in the game. You still can win. Now get your butt up.
That storm that you're in, it seems like that storm is enveloping the whole world. Hard to see out of that storm. It's hard to see past it. It seems like the storm is everything. You can get out of the storm, and you will get out of the storm. But right now, you're being tried. You're being forged. You're being tested by fire and by pain. Don't fail the test.
And if you're not careful, you will allow situations in this life to cloud your perspective. And you will allow moments in this life to take away the hopes and the dreams of tomorrow. Failure is not final, it's formative. It's part of the journey. How are you gonna learn if you don't ever fail? Failure is fuel for your future. Failure is a part of your story. The only time you fail is the last time you try. You need to get the right perspective on it, because this failure, it will not end in death, but this failure is a part of you being formed.
Don't take the presence of the storm to indicate the absence of God. Sometimes when you enter into a storm, and there are all kinds of storms, health storms, financial storms, there are all kinds of storms. I'm talking about storms that other people can't see. Storms that make people think you haven't been through anything. Because you get up out the bed every morning and you put your hair up and put your makeup on, and they don't know you put your smile on just like you did your makeup, and walked in smiling because you were going through a secret storm. Has anybody ever gone through a secret storm? God may be giving you more to work with than what you are working with at this time. That's why I don't like to hang with low-thinking people, because they'll make you underutilize what God has given you. You need somebody to challenge you that you could be doing more than what you're doing right now. You could have more than you have right now. You could go further than you're going right now, and somebody's got to be bold enough to look you in the face and empower you to go into the enemy's camp and take back what he stole from you.
And if God be for us, who can be against us? There's nothing in this world that can defeat us if God is for us. It is impossible to have victory and think bondage. It's impossible to be happy and think sadness and depression.
I'm encouraging you to be mindful and be deliberate of what you let in your mind. Be concerned about what's going on and do the things necessary that keeps you out of harm's way. But don't be consumed with it. So make up your mind to wake up with prayer, to watch something that inspires you, that lifts you up as you rethink your life in self-examination. This is a time to look at the relationships in your life and ask the question, what kind of person am I becoming because of this relationship? Am I growing mentally and emotionally and spiritually? Am I becoming a better person because of this relationship? Is it an asset to me or a liability?
lot of times, by the time people really get down to seeing who you really are, they run from you. What we really want is for somebody to love us for who we are. And what we really want is to have the kind of intimate relationship with them that allows us the freedom of not needing to camouflage who we are, what we think, how we speak, and how we understand. Without that freedom, we begin to be actors acting out a role in the house for which we eventually become weary of, and we break out of the role because we want to be free to be ourselves.
I think don't save that last bullet for yourself. You lock and load that last bullet and you shoot it at your enemy. And you keep fighting and you keep fighting no matter what. And you never quit. And if you feel like your life is in a place where you can't get any lower, good. Because that means the ultimate challenge is ahead of you. It means you can only go up.
As long as God wakes you up, that means he ain't through with you yet. And if he wakes you up, you got a shot to correct it and get it right. That also means that he has something for you that you've yet to receive.
Life's just never done with you. Knowing that every day you get up, you have a choice. You get to choose if you're going to make the right decisions, or you get to choose if you're going to make the wrong ones. And every day you wake up, you get to take the test, and you get to see how you do. When you realize your game is bigger than just you, that's where the power's at. To lead. So be the best leader you can be. For yourself and for the people that you care about.
Program your mind, because all that you will do or not do, have or not have, accomplish or not accomplish, will be a direct derivative of what's going on inside of your mind. So if you don't get clear thinking on an issue, you won't be able to develop in that area. It's about mentality, getting the right man. I thought of the child, I spake of the child, I understood of the child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things.
Discipline is defined as self-imposed standards for the sake of a higher goal. All leaders have to have the quality of self-discipline. You are not a leader if you are not self-disciplined. A leader doesn't need much discipline from the outside. They self-impose discipline on themselves. And that is what we call self-discipline.
When it feels like you've taken steps backwards, don't sit around and sulk. Don't live life defeated. Stay in faith. You may not realize it, but you're in a good position. You're being pruned, not so you can stay there. No, you're being pruned so you can go to a new level, so you can see new growth and experience new opportunities and discover new potential.
You must now take action on what you found out. We call it game plan. Put together your game plan. A business game plan. Everybody needs game plans. Financial independence game plan. Your investment game plan. I often ask somebody, what are you going to do the next 6 months? And somebody starts to tell me. I say, no, don't tell me. Show me. Show me your game plan for the next 6 months. Then I can look at things and maybe I can help. Put it on a game plan. Take action on what you found out. Now here's the best word I know of to go with action. Massive. See, that'll change everything.
You are everything. Keep trucking and keep doing the things that you need to do. There's greatness in you. Say it as many times as you have to. It can even start as a whisper. There's greatness in you, but keep repeating it because the mindset works best with consistency. Even when it hurts, even when it's hard. Keep moving forward. Keep doing what you need to do. Keep believing in yourself.
There are moments in our lives that we feel completely alone. We feel as though no one knows what we're going through. It is because of the uniqueness of the challenges that confront you are so unique to you that you feel like I'm up against it all by myself.
It's an uphill battle. And along that road, you're not going to see too many friends. You're going to see your shadow most often. See, the thing is, for many people, they've tried the same path you're on, and they failed. As you walk this journey, you're going to see carcasses all over the place of people that didn't quite have it. is that your success is like a spotlight shining down on their missed opportunities. Success, many will love you for it. The majority will hate you because your success reminds them of where they could have done it, but they came up short and how they didn't revisit it. The difference between a winner and a loser, the failure's there every single time. It's just the winner gets back up and does it again until it goes his way. So now you're down that path and you're all alone.
And generally, that type of circumstance is born because it's not because you don't have anybody to talk to, but can you trust them? Eventually, even the most disciplined amongst us, the corners of your mouth will droop down. Your smile will turn into a frown. Eventually, even if you have to wait till everybody's gone to sleep, a tear will run across the bridge of your nose because you're dealing with stuff that is so deep and so complicated that you feel like you're in it by yourself. But you are not alone in the battle. You're not alone in the struggle, that God has a strategy. And when it's all over, you're going to see that even though you couldn't see him, he was there all the time.
I promise you guys, if today you never say good enough, tomorrow you'll always have enough. What I'm saying is the character of who you are. The character defines the success, defines the fame, and it starts right there. Championships aren't won in the theater of the arena. They're won in the thousands of hours in the training room, in the labs, in the 5 a.m. runs. When everyone else is sleeping, that's when it's won. The heart of a champion is a light switch that's always on. It doesn't go on and off when someone's watching. It's constant. It begins right now with no one looking, man. And how you hold yourself, how you see yourself. What do you do when no one's watching? If you do it then, I guarantee you, you'll be doing it when everyone's watching.
Your heart, your life, your happiness is your responsibility and your responsibility alone. It's not your fault if your partner cheated and ruined your marriage, but it is for damn sure your responsibility to figure out how to take that pain and how to overcome that and build a happy life for yourself. As long as we're pointing the finger and stuck in whose fault something is, you are stuck in suffering. The road to power is in taking responsibility.
Take full responsibility for what happens to you. Accepting full responsibility. It's the day you know you've passed from childhood to adulthood. Learn to reap in the fall without apology if you do well, and without complaint if you don't. That's maturity. I used to have that long list of reasons why I wasn't doing well. I blame my negative relatives. They were always putting me down. I blame my cynical neighbors. They're just selfish, looking out for themselves. Won't loan you money? I used to blame the economy. I blame the community. That's a pretty good list for not doing well, isn't it?
The road to power is in taking responsibility. Your heart, your life, your happiness is your responsibility and your responsibility alone. Taking responsibility, accepting responsibility is not an admission of guilt. Taking responsibility is a recognition of the power that you seize when you stop blaming people. It's not like you're letting somebody who wronged you off the hook. Taking responsibility is taking your power back.
A few months later, I learned very quickly to tear up my list, reasons for not doing well, and I threw it away. And I got me a fresh piece of paper, and I put one word on it: me. There's a Black Heritage spiritual that says, it's not my mother nor my father, nor my brother nor my sister, but it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. It's not what happens, it's what you do. If anything can go wrong, it will. That's one of Murphy's laws. So here's one of the key questions of the evening. Starting tomorrow, what are you going to do that'll make a change in your life's direction? Now see, if you don't do something starting tomorrow that'll make a difference, guess what? Because the next 5 are going to be like the last 5 unless you, major key, tomorrow, change it all. Or change a little, or change something, or don't change. It's choice time. You can do whatever you want. But it's nice to know any day you wish you can change your whole life.
We go through the actions of commitment, but we're not really committed. We're not really connected. We're not really joined because we have no understanding of our responsibility to any relationship. You cannot have true relationship without reciprocity. You cannot get into a relationship to get and not give. You collect anniversaries, you've got a lot of birthdays, but you've never been the person that you could be, because the could be is locked up behind commitment, and until you're committed, you'll never get the could be. Wonder what would have happened in school if you'd been committed. Wonder what would have happened in your marriage if you'd have really thrown your whole self. You've always been casual.
In what you've done with your life thus far, is it giving you what you want? Is it giving you what you want when you look toward the future, when you look at all that's going on out here? Is there some place within yourself you say, hey, I know I need to be out there in that arena. I know I can do more than what I've been doing. Is that something that you begin to look at within yourself? See, I say if you look at your life, and if you're not getting what you want, you owe it to yourself to do something differently. If you're on a job, 85% of Americans go to jobs that they're unhappy. If you're doing something 8 hours a day that you don't like, it's not giving you what you want, it's not giving you a strong feeling of satisfaction and fulfillment. If that's what it is, you owe it to yourself to start strategically working to change directions. Most people will resist change. Most people will fight change as if change would be worse than what they're experiencing. Most people will not challenge the unknown. They won't just step out there. See, there are certain things that's got to be in place. They got to see it all together. And life isn't like that. That's not how you grow. As you begin to look toward the future, begin to know that whatever it takes for you to create that, you got that. You've got genius in you. You've got goodness in you. If you decide to take the initiative to change the current quality of your life, I say to you that you will find that the universe is on your side. Will it be easy? No. Will you have some opposition? Yes. Will I make a lot of mistakes? Yes. See, a lot of people won't try anything different in life because they don't want to get hurt. Pain is everywhere. But most people spend their life not wanting to deal with the pain of rejection, the pain of being disappointed, the pain of being criticized, the pain. That's called life. But guess what? There's no gain without pain.
If you don't know exactly what you want, or you let yourself get beyond that into something general, you're not going to achieve it. Clarity is power. You got to know the specific result you're after. What do you want? Why you're doing it? Because you know what? You may get a big goal. Somebody says, I want to make $1 billion. I want to bring peace to the earth. Why? Because as soon as you come up with a goal, all the obstacles show up. So you got to get yourself past that. And the way to get past that is have enough reasons. Reasons come first, answers come second. To ask intelligent, you got to know why you want it, have enough drive to make it happen, enough juice to make it happen. If you don't have enough reasons, you will not make it happen. What is going to get you to actually fall through? Because the first plan's not going to work and the second plan's going to work, so you better have enough plans that if the first two don't work, you still got something else. Otherwise, you're going to be having excuses why it didn't work.
That's a pain. Don't you know that's something? When you know, I was in a seminar once and this lady stood up. If I had my life to live over again, she talked about all of the things that she would do. And you can feel the pain of regret in her voice. She was trying not to experience the pain of defeat, the pain of disappointment, the pain of loss, and she still experienced pain. It was right there. Most people are governed by their habits, their fears, and the opinions of others. A lot of people never try anything differently because they have been convinced by people in their lives that they value that they can't do it. They're living within the context of the opinions that other people have of them. The low expectations. Many people doubt themselves because when they thought about doing something at some critical point in their lives, somebody they respected and honored, someone they trusted said, you can't do that. And they accepted that.
Disease, over caution. Some people never will have much. They're too cautious. Now, you can also be too reckless, but you can also be too cautious. This is called the timid approach to life. And my caution was always the risk. Risk used to drive me right up the wall. I used to say, what if this happens? It's called the language of the poor. What if this happens? And on top of that, if this was to happen, look at the fix I'd be in. I better not try. I could always ace myself out. Then I'll tell you what changed my whole life when I finally discovered it's all risky. The minute you were born, it got risky. If you think trying is risky, wait till they hand you the bill for not trying. If you think investing is risky, wait till you get the tab for not investing. See, it's all risky. Getting married is risky. Having children is risky. Going into business is risky. Investing your money is risky. It's all risky. I'll tell you how risky life is. You're not going to get out alive. That's risky. The Englishman says, well, if that's the way it's going to work out, let's give it a go. Right, that's what it's for. Give it a go. Somebody says, yeah, but I'm looking for safety and security. Fine, then huddle in a corner. We'll cover you with a sheet, bring you 3 meals a day. And we'll protect you, feed you, look after you, care for you. We won't let anything happen to you, and you'll probably live to be 100. The guy said, well, yeah, I'd live to be 100. But what a way to live. Right. What a way to live, safe and secure. Don't ask for security. Ask for adventure. Better to live 30 years full of adventure than 100 years safe in the corner. And see, it's not important how long you live. What's important is how you live.
I found that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks.
You have to take chances in life. If you don't take chances in life, you will never have the life God has for you. Life is risk. It takes courage to pursue your dream.
Nelson Mandela said, there is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that's less than the one you're capable of living.
If you don't want to be uncomfortable, please do not pursue success, because success is a very uncomfortable feeling.
God wants you to be excited about your destiny so that you can endure the process that brings you into promise. Because there is a process before promise. And if you don't have at least a vision of the promise, the process will discourage you. But every time discouragement is trying to get you to give up the process, remember the vision you have of the promise and keep on walking around the wall. Keep on walking around. I'm tired, Lord, but I'm going to walk around this wall. I'm frustrated, Lord, but I'm going to walk around this wall. I'm lonely, Lord, but I'm going to walk around this wall. Thought I'd be married by now, but I'm going to walk around this wall. Credit's all jacked, Lord, but I'm going to walk around this wall. I'm trusting you when I can't trace you. I'm going to walk around this wall. And Lord, I am crazy enough to stand in front of a solid wall and shout as if it had already come down. Let's try that one time. Let's shout as if the walls had already come.
Life's going to give you ultimately what you'll fight for. Stop allowing God to bless you and give you all this giftedness and opportunity and settle and tolerate less. Don't tolerate it anymore. Yeah, you got to give it your best, but it starts making a decision that this is over. I don't tolerate this life anymore. Pretty good's not good enough for my family. Pretty good's not good enough for my grandmother. Pretty good's not good enough for my grandpa, my parents, my future children. Pretty good ain't going to get it done for this family.
Some of you have money. Some of you have patience. Some of you have kindness. Some of you have love. Some of you have the gift of long suffering. Whatever it is, whatever your gift is, what are you going to do with what you have?
At one point in time, you got to take a chance on you.
A wise man once told me, you got to be willing to do the things today that others won't do in order to have things tomorrow others won't have. I'll tell you this, you can't make excuses and money at the same time. Stop making excuses. Start doing what you gotta do to make it happen. When you're sitting at your cubicle, when you're lining up for class, getting ready to go through the school day, or whether you're getting ready to take those kids out and get them going for their day as well. One thing I want you to make sure you remember is don't quit. No matter how it goes for the day, no matter what you go through, make sure you don't quit. Because every day, when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road that you're trudging seems all uphill, when cares are pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is queer with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns. Many a failure has turned about, though he might have won had he stuck it out. So don't give up, though the pace seems slow. You might succeed with just another blow. Success is being turned inside out, the silver tips of the cloud of doubt. You never know how close you are. You might be near, but you seem so far. So stick to the fight when your heart is hit. It's when things go wrong, you must not quit.
Are you really being effective, or is your life cluttered with all kinds of stuff that demands you and drains you and taxes you and stops you from being your highest and best self? And are you substituting busyness and all the chaos that goes along with busyness from being effective? 80% of the things we do are busy things that we do in an area that is not effective, that the average person only spends 20% of their time doing the thing that they are really gifted at, created at, excited to do, and the rest of it is all the dismal, dumb stuff that we all have to do in order to survive. Just crazy stuff that we're doing. Wonder what would happen if we would go from doing 80% of things that are busy but not effective, and 20% of the things that are really effective, if we would switch those numbers around and only give 20% of our time to the things that we have to do and 80% of our time to the thing that we were created to do.
Make your move before you're ready. We're instructed in life to walk by faith and not by sight. See, you want to become a risk taker. You want to raise the bar on yourself. Most people won't do that. See, most people engage in low life living, low risk living. If you're not willing to risk, you cannot grow. And if you cannot grow, you cannot become your best. And if you cannot become your best, you can't be happy. And if you can't be happy, then what else is there? Don't allow fear, failure, and the allure, the attractiveness of playing it safe in life to draw you in. You can't get out of life alive. You got to die to leave here.
You were meant to be creative. It takes time to be creative. We do everything except the most important thing is to value our time. If you had time, you would be creative. But in the absence of time and with busyness and clutter and the phone ring, beep, 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 you all got music playing on your phone, all kinds of stuff. And no matter what kind of song you put on it, after a while you hate to hear it, because every time you hear that sound, you know it's somebody else wanting something else from you that's taking you away from what you are gifted and creative to do.
Risk used to drive me right up the wall. I used to say, what if this happens? It's called the language of the poor. And I'll tell you what changed my whole life when I finally discovered it's all risky. The minute you were born, it got risky. If you think trying is risky, wait till they hand you the bill for not trying. If you think investing is risky, wait till you get the tab for not investing. See, it's all risky. Getting married is risky. Having children is risky. Investing your money is risky. It's all risky. I'll tell you how risky life is. You're not going to get out alive. The Englishman says, well, if that's the way it's going to work out, let's give it a go. Right, that's what it's for. Give it a go. Better to live 30 years full of adventure than 100 years safe in the corner.
If you're going to be a risk taker, this is so important that you get, I don't care how old you are or how young you are, catch this right now. If you're going to be a risk taker, learn right now how to fail forward. It's just simple. I can't tell you how many people I meet and I encounter who live life with this fear of failure. You know what I've learned? I've learned that failing is not that bad. In fact, I've discovered that if I'm not failing, I'm probably not succeeding. Because as I look back at my life, every bit of success, any victory I've ever seen, is always laid upon mounds and mounds of failures before it. But if you don't ever put yourself out there to fail, then you're never actually going to get out there to succeed. Life, man, it's about failure at times. And we have to become okay with failing and getting back up. When I fall down, I'm not going to let it push me back. I'm going to let it push me forward. I'm just one step closer to the promise that God has for my life.
Don't let your past affect your present. Wash your past off of you so that it doesn't pollute your present. You'd be surprised at the people who have ruined where they are with where they came from. And you're not ready for what God is about to give you now because you're still polluted with what you went through then. You'd be surprised at the people who are married to 2 or 3 people, not legally, but mentally and emotionally. You have walked up on this new man with 2 layers of other men still clinging onto your face, and you're ruining your present because your past is still active in your life. Wash it off you. You can't go forward until you wash the past off you. I don't care how long it takes, you cannot go forward until you wash your face. You're not ready for Boaz until you wash your face. You got too much stuff on you from yesterday. You must wash your face. Clinging issues from the past, residue that we can readily detect. I shouldn't be able to look at you and see your past on your face.
See, we live in a world where we're told more about our limitations rather than our potential. So you have to watch who's speaking into you. You've got to begin to monitor your mind. And you've got to begin to literally be proactive in programming yourself to success. Be ye not conformed to this world. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. You've got to take responsibility to make that happen. And as you begin to do that, you'll begin to see some incredible changes in your life. I understand now when Earl Nightingale said, all of us are self-made, but only the successful will admit it. See, most people stop short of their dreams and park and get off the highway of life because of the rejections of life. You will always be rejected. It's no big deal. Jack Canfield said rejection is a myth. It's not like when somebody says no and then they slap you. No, it's just, to me, make no your vitamin. Get excited about the no. Why? Because every time someone says no, that brings you another step to a yes. You're getting closer. Trust me, you will win if you don't quit.
Every so often, you'll go through a period in your life that seems like all of your real skills are being wasted. It will feel like you're not being used to your highest potential. It will feel like you're living beneath your privilege. And if you're not careful, you will secretly see yourself as a failure because you don't see yourself operating in the way that you dreamed that you would. If you saw yourself as a sedentary eaglet sitting in a nest, enjoying the comfort of your nest, it's hard to see yourself soaring. After all, soaring is more work, requires more muscles, requires more effort. You expend more energy. It's easier to lay back in your nest and say, feed me, love me, acknowledge me, open doors for me, make a way for me. Me, 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 me. All of a sudden, the food stops. When the food stops, it's a sign for you to move on. You'll have to live with what you did all your life. That's why you ought to be careful what you do.
You don't have to wait till the 50th year. You don't have to wait till 2021. You don't have to wait till you get married. You don't have to wait till you get divorced. I mean, everybody's trying to go somewhere else. He said, today, everybody say, this is the year. This is the year. This is the year. But if frustration is a more familiar state for you, you will create frustration. You do this. I know this is hard to hear, but please hear me with spiritual ears. Some of the frustration, you just got to get through because it's not your fault. Some of it you're creating. You're creating it when you compare yourself to other people. You're creating it when you overload yourself with all this stuff you're looking at. You are making yourself frustrated. And the reason you're doing it, I'm going to tell you why you're doing it, because it feels familiar.
Here's something I want you to keep in mind. In order to be successful, you must be willing to do the things today others won't do. In order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. Most people don't have goals. Most people have not dedicated themselves to mastering something that they love that can be of service to others. And most people are not trying to create a life of meaning. I believe that you're with me because you feel that the best years of your life are ahead of you and the best is yet to come.
The one thing about me, man, I've always been resilient. I've never been afraid to reinvent myself. And here's the key for everybody. When someone closes a door in your face, all you have to remember is when God allows them to close the door in your face, all God wants you to do is walk up the hall. It's some more doors, because I can promise you he got a better door that he wants you to go through than the one that got shut in your face. That's a fact. That's a fact. But what happened to people is they stand there beating on the door. Open it back up. We're going to do a write-in campaign. Where are you leaving? I got to have my job. What about my benefits? Hey, stop. The door is closed for a reason. Because God just wants you to walk up the hall because he got another door. It's bigger, and when you open it and get behind it, you ain't going to believe what's back there. But you will never get to it if you stand in front of that door crying. Help me, my family, stop. Go up the hall, man. These people that close doors in your face, they ain't the only door. They ain't the only door.
You can either live a life of scarcity and believe that you're going to lose what you have, and then you begin to hoard and fence in and protect and lock. Or you can just believe that there's more out there to experience than you've ever experienced. There's more to see than you've ever seen. There's more to do than you've ever done, and there's more to discover than you've ever discovered. Here's what I know. If you have a scarcity mindset, you'll find very, very little good stuff that happens to you. And if you have an abundance mindset, you'll find a whole bunch of good things that are going to happen to you. And what's interesting is the two of you can be side by side, and one is barely making it, and the other is just getting blessed beyond measure. You see, the abundance is out there, but you have to have an abundance mindset to receive it and to achieve it. Have hope. Look at your future. There's more in front of you than you could ever imagine. But it only comes to you if you have an abundance mindset.
Don't give up until you get where you want to be, however long that is. Step by step, piece by piece, book by book. Do it until. Go for it. Until is a very important word. It's magic. It means that you'll never give up. Don't miss the chance to grow, to pay the price. Until you learn, change, grow. You'll discover some of life's great treasures when you pay that price. As long as you're working toward your inner goal, your dream, then success is possible. But once you give up your inner vision, then you can never become successful. You never will become successful. Until doesn't even matter. Now, maybe the person who's been working on a project for 10 years can be successful in his own right, if he's honestly working toward it, doing everything to make himself worthy of reaching the dream, really happy with where he is, doing it until, then maybe he is a success. It's a personal thing, going for it one step at a time, going for small accomplishments along the way for however long it takes. You'll start to see things change around you, little things, not major things, but little everyday things, things you may not even notice unless you are paying attention. If you're one of those who'd rather stay up late and get up late, only to discover that your workplace doesn't fit your schedule, and you roll out of bed cursing the alarm clock every morning, maybe you could start with the little change of going to bed half an hour earlier than normal. And maybe you'll see, in time of course, you can't train your body overnight, maybe you'll find out that you jump out of bed in a better mood, and that your day will start better, and that you'll get more done. It all starts by making one little change and adding to it every day.
There most certainly are times when we feel like that, when you say, I don't have any idea whatsoever of what I'm going to do to pull this out. Been in situations like that, where I had deadlines I had to meet. I didn't meet those deadlines, and I lost a car, lost a home, lights were cut off, telephone was cut off. All of those things are going to happen to you at different points in life. Now, the question is, what does it really mean? It really doesn't mean anything. It's not important at all. It's just a temporary inconvenience, because all of those things can be corrected. And it's a part of the process that we all go through. Now, the challenge is, in the midst of all of these things, is one, to stay focused on your goal, and two, to keep your expectations of making it happen and relentlessly looking for ways in order to pull it out.
You see, you can't change what's going on around you without first changing what's going on within you. Start changing how you look at mornings, and sure enough, people will start changing how they look at you. When you start changing how you think, how you act, how you treat others, how you treat yourself, when you start responding instead of reacting to life, life will start responding to you. I'm telling you that you can do it with your lifestyle. You can do it with your sales career. You can do it with any part of your life. If you are looking for equities unmatched, don't curse the only thing you have. Seed and soil, sunshine and rain, miracle and seasons. But start processing things like we're covering in this program, and change will take off for you. You cannot believe what can happen in such a short period of time. So what happens when you start taking charge of your own personal happiness, your own life? Do you think that these little things will somehow make a difference in meeting your goals? You bet they will.
I once heard somebody say that hope doesn't matter. I still remember that because at the time I was going through a difficult period in my life. I had lost a lot, and being honest, I was starting to question if I had enough to get back to zero. Not to impress anyone, not even to win, but just to get back to zero. And somewhere in me, I was starting to feel like a loser, a joke. And I had to deal with that. But the one thing I had going for me, the one thing I had left that would get me unstuck and back in the game again, was a real Hail Mary. The success rate was 1% worse than chance. But that's all I had. So you better believe I was holding on to hope. That's what kept me going and believing that I could start again, that I could come back. So the person was wrong. Hope does matter. But it only matters when you understand that hope is just one part of the equation. Hope alone cannot survive. The world you build around hope will disappear into thin air if hope is all there is. The real story is this. Hope is always looking for a partner. It's always searching for something else to give it meaning. Hope goes looking for courage. It seeks out faith. It invites work, action, doing. Getting up at 4:30 in the morning to work out because you've got to lose that weight. You want your life back. Hope is looking for courage because by itself, hope might get you to the game. But after that first hit, the one that knocks you to the floor, hope needs courage to get back up, to take more, to readjust and to keep on moving. Hope seeks out faith because there are days when hope needs a break, when it's been stretched to its limits and about to crack. That's where faith steps in. You don't know how, but you just keep saying to yourself and believing that something's going to open up for me. I just have to keep going.
We all have things that come against us in life. People that aren't fair, a sickness that won't seem to go away, or a setback in our finances. Sometimes it was no fault of our own. We were born into difficulties, parents that weren't around, depression and addictions that keep getting passed down. We wonder, why am I having this opposition? Why was I raised in an unhealthy childhood? Why did this company let me go after all these years? it's because there's something in you that the enemy's trying to stop.
There's another person on the inside of you that you have to tap into in order to get through one of the darkest, toughest, roughest moments of your life. But ultimately, everything happens for a reason, and you have to understand you've been dealt this. You've been dealt this adversity, this opposition, and this challenge because somebody in the world needs to see you get through it so it can serve as a blessing to someone else. And so as I stand right here before you and I tell you I'm grateful and I'm thankful, I'm grateful and I'm thankful. I have friends out there that poured into me. And so every day of my life, the way that I live my life is to give the people that invested in me and saw something in me when I couldn't see it in myself, a return on their investment. I feel it's my responsibility to add value to every person's life that come in contact with me in every environment that I go into.